What's up everyone, Darren here at Rosoyos. So I just unboxed some of the stuff that I got from Perun. Perun sent me a whole bunch of this stuff to show you guys, to test it for you. I will be doing a few future builds for you guys just to see how these parts perform. Some of these parts sort of like fit different kinds of people. But anyways, let's start with the most exciting part. So this right here is the Perun V3 Optical Mosfet. So just like the V2 optical MOSFET, it uses optical sensors to track your trigger and your sector gear with a small little PCB to protect the sector gear sensor. So this is quite interesting. It's because their V2 optical works really well. So I'm quite excited to try this MOSFET to see how this performs in the AK. You can also use this with a G36 and ASG brand, so on and so forth. However, with this MOSFET, you have to solder your own connector, your own fuse, and your own motor plugs. And also, your own, not the spade connectors, what do you call this? I just call them the motor connectors. I know that's not the proper term, but basically you have to solder them on yourself. So, the reason why this is because for version 3 gearboxes, since they're used in different platforms, the wiring length is a little bit different. So, instead of assuming that you'll be using this for a set length for whatever gun that you intend to use, they give you the option where you can just solder it yourself and configure it to whatever length that you want. Now, this is important for me. This is extremely important for me, and the reason why is because for my AKS-74U, I actually don't intend to put the battery in where the dust cover is, or where the top cover is. I actually intend to wire everything to the rear. So having this option is pretty nice for me. However, just be wary that if you guys are new to airsoft, if you have never soldered before, be wary that you have to learn how to solder. I might make a video to teach you guys how to do that one day, but I'm going to be quite honest with you, I'm self-taught, so it's best that I don't teach you guys how to solder. But if you guys want to learn my method of soldering, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll try to, as I'm working on this MOSFET, maybe I'll film the entire process and I'll show you guys. Because I intend to set this up in my LCT AK with it mostly stock, because we already know these MOSFETs can handle very high stress builds. But I want to show you guys what this MOSFET can do to a completely stock rifle. It's because there's pre-cocking here and there's active braking in this. So this MOSFET should perform pretty well. Perun also sent me a few of their other MOSFETs. So this right here is just their regular MOSFET that you can install into a regular AAG. You do have to solder this as well. Now, the main selling point of this is that it's really tiny, of course. Like, look at how small it is. It's basically about, maybe the length of 2 grains of rice. It's about the same width as one. So this MOSFET is really tiny, pretty cool stuff. If you are very confined or very limited in space, you might want to consider using something like this. This is also very neat if you guys have a VFC Avalon, and if your MOSFET burnt out, because it can burn out, it definitely will burn out at some point, you can replace it with this. So this is a pretty neat option, and this thing is actually much smaller than the one that's provided in the VFC gearboxes, in the QRS gearboxes. This is actually much smaller, so it's much easier for you to install something like this. Pretty cool stuff. And their next MOSFET, which is, I'm actually pretty excited for this, because, well, I'll tell you guys why in a second. So this right here is their Perun AB MOSFET, or active braking. It has active braking and LiPo protection, so this is pretty neat. I actually intend to build a JG MP5 with a DSG, and I know Perun's active braking is good enough to tame a DSG. So I actually intend to use this with that, and I'm quite excited to see what this thing can do. It's because this MOSFET is so small. If you guys fit this into, let's say, a MP5 SD, because it's so small, you can actually fit like a 1000 to 1300 milliamp hour battery with this MOSFET in there. So pretty cool idea in my opinion. I think that's what I'll do. I also have a friend who might want to pick up one of these things to build it, to assemble this into a P90, into a Tokyo Marui P90. I might be working on that for him. If I do that, I will show you guys how to build something like that for yourself. Is because these MOSFETs are The only thing that you really have to do is just solder it on. There's really not much to talk about. It's because these MOSFETs like this have been around for quite a long time. Besides Perun, Gate also does these kinds of MOSFETs. So you can also use this with like Tokyo Marui M4s and stuff like that, which might be a pretty good idea actually. I have a Tokyo Marui next generation recoil shock M4. If you don't want to buy a BTC MOSFET, or if you don't want to buy the new Titan NGRS, this is a pretty neat little option since this thing is so small. You can actually squeeze this. If you have one of these PTS EPS stocks, what you can do is that you can actually squeeze the MOSFET in. See, look at how much space you have. Like, it's so small. You can actually even squeeze this in here. You can actually squeeze this in this little compartment over here, and then have your wires sit, and then have your battery. Sorry about that. And then you can have your battery sit right over here, and then you can close up the... You should modify the signal wire or shorten them to your needs, and you can squeeze all that in here. See, look at that, right? What a neat little solution, right? So, with active braking, with such a small MOSFET, you can do several different kinds of builds with this thing, actually, just because of how small this thing is. So, pretty neat. Now, for the most, I don't want to say controversial, but this is sort of like a controversial product. So this right here is the Perun Nozzle-X. And what it is that it's basically an adjustable nozzle that comes with a base. This is called the base of the nozzle that goes on your tappet plate. And then this right here is the tip of the nozzle, which you can swap out for different size tips. Some of them with a small chamfer, some of them with a large chamfer. Now, the adjustable nozzle, the length, is basically for certain configurations where if the nozzle is a bit short, you have the option of having it a little bit longer. You have an option of having a little bit shorter, so it won't push the BB too deep into the hop-up, so that it will seal better with your hop-up bucking lips. So having the nozzle adjustable is a very cool idea. I do like that. The controversial part is the structure inside. So the structure is a little bit different. The tip is also different. I don't know if you can tell on camera. They're quite a bit different. The thing is that I don't really know which one is better for what build. I'm going to be quite honest with you. When it comes to nozzles, I've never really looked into the structure inside, or the structure on the tip. I never really looked into that. As long as it has like sort of a bevel to it, so that it can seal up better with the bucking. As long as it has that, generally speaking, I don't really pay attention to it. I do pay attention to the length. The length is something that I pay attention to. But otherwise, I'm not entirely sure what the different structure inside does. So I'm going to be testing this in my Avalon carbine, because I have a long 14.5-inch M4. So I'll basically see how this performs, is because that rifle is going to be my high trigger response DMR rifle. So using this monster will be pretty interesting. Hopefully it will work. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, that's it for the video for now. It's a little bit boring. Sorry about that. But I just really wanted to show you guys this, is because this is one of the most exciting things that I've been waiting to do. Like, I've been meaning to build a Retro Arms AK for a very long time. I can't believe I finally have the opportunity to try. I have no idea what it will do. I have no idea what that gearbox will do. But I hope it works. Anyways, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, even though it's not very useful. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. Happy shooting.